All right, guys, welcome back. The amp of the week. It's another Pro model. Is the Pro 3K gonna do any better than the original? Let's find out. All right, let's get her unboxed. I went back this morning and watched my old video on the original version of this amp to see what the ratings were and what the output was, and I jotted those down. I'll mention them as we go through the video. This amp did not change from Class AB to Class D like the 1500 model. The original 3K was a D, Class D, and this is a Class D. So we might not see much change, where that 1500 went from an AB in the old model to a Class D in the new model. The ratings changed a little bit in that model as well, where this one is exactly the same. We'll talk about those in a second. Another thing that's interesting, the old model also said 1923 on it, where the new model says 1924. That is the same for the 1500 watt models as it is the 3Ks. You can see some of the ratings right there. I don't know why it says 2 ohm stability, because this is a 1 ohm amp, but it's got, I don't know. You'd think they would want to be proud to put the 1 ohm on there, because that is what most people want these days. Class D monoblock, 1 ohm stable. That is by far the most popular subwoofer configuration out there these days. Just showing y'all what's on the box before we get it open. Here's some of those specs. So you can see right there, they're giving us a 4 ohms rating at 800, 2 ohms, 1600, 1 ohm, 2250. That is all exactly the same as the old model. The model number didn't change much either, because the old one was called the AMP-3000D, and this one's just the AMP-3000DPRO. So what's different about it? What makes it a Pro? We're gonna find out. I'm unboxing this for the first time on camera, guys. I haven't done this previously. As always, I'll check out the manual. I'll let you know if there's anything interesting in there. Let's get her out of the box. What do we have over here? Some fuses. That's another thing. Is the fusing going to be the same? I bet it is. There's 3 40 amp fuses in there, along with some screws. All right. Let's get her. I forgot to grab my knife. All right, we got the bass knob. All right, looks the same. Got a light on it. Says Blaupunkt. It is metal. It is small. Let's get it out of here. Let's get it out. You know what? It's not the smoothest in the world, actually. It's okay. It don't have the clicks, but seems like right here is pretty consistent, and then you get about right here and it tightens up a little bit. But I bet that would break in and be okay. Wish I had a clip light on it. No clip light. All right. Get that out of the way as well. Let's get to it. All right, so aesthetically it looks a little bit different. So I'd have to go back and look. This one's looking pretty similar to the old model, but I want to say the old model didn't have these lines here. Obviously this is different, but so far this is looking pretty similar. So, man, they give you some 4-gauge speaker outs, just one of each, one positive, one negative. We do have those same 40 amp fuses, 3 40 amp fuses, 4-gauge over here as well. I can't remember if the old one had 4-gauge over here for the speaker. I know we did here. But let's look at the other end. Also, it's the same in the sense of being Phillips head screws. Those screws are angled, but the wire goes in straight. And the other end, we've got a power and protect lights. They are separate lights. Low level inputs, gain, bass boost, 0 to, what does that say, 18 dB. We have a phase, low pass filter, and your plug-in for your remote. Very, very similar. I wonder if there's going to be any difference in this. We're going to take the back plate off of this at the end of the video and compare that to the original model. I took a screenshot of the guts of the original model this morning because I want to look for myself to see if these are exactly the same or if we can tell there are some differences. But let's get this thing wired up. All right, here we go. Nothing too special in the manual, but I did want to show you all the model numbers in the new Pro series. There's a 2-channel, a 4-channel, a 1500 monoblock, which we already did, and this one, the 3K monoblock. Everything else in there is pretty normal. So this is going to be the 4 ohm run, and I will tell you this, the original version of this amp did 386 on this run right here, and it pulled 41.6 amps of current. So how is this one going to do compared to that 386? The rating, by the way, in the manual and on the box is 800 watts. But what's it going to do? Here we go. .382. The voltage did not drop, and it pulled 39.8 amps of current. So basically the same. And I think I was using my old clamp meter when I did the other amp, so that could be a little bit of difference in you know, 2 different meters as well, but that is virtually the same thing, just a few watts less and a few amps less. But I don't know, let's move on to the 2 ohm. All right, 2 ohms, here we go. The old version did 655. The rating is 1600, but 655 is what the old one did. Stick around to the end of the video. I tell you what I paid for this amp. It was actually a little bit cheaper than the old model, but let's get to it. Is it gonna do that 655 or better? Better would be cool. Here we go, here we go. 655 or better. 633. The voltage did not drop, and we pulled 73.8 amps of current. The old version pulled 81.1 amps of current. So a little less power, but a little less amperage. Guys, is this going to turn out to be the same amp? Now that run there, that was almost 20 watts less. Actually, it was 22 watts less. So very interesting here. All right, let's move on to the 1 ohm test. All right, 1 ohm, guys, rated 2250 watts. The old version did 961. What is this one gonna do? 961 or better? I hope better. Let's get to it. 913. The voltage dropped to 14.5. That was exactly the same as the old version as far as the voltage drop. And the current draw was 123.3. The current draw on the old version was 134.1. 1.7. So the current draw was less on every run with this clamp, but the wattage was less on every run. So, golly, guys. I don't know what that efficiency would work out to be, on which one of those would turn out to be better, but it is virtually the same. But I will say this, it's enough voltage. Yeah, I'm liking that old version a little bit better. But it's close enough in wattage that you probably would not hear the difference in your subwoofers. But do y'all want to hear this thing on those two SCAR 12s? I think you probably do. I think you probably do. So let's do that, and then let's get the back plate off of this thing, and then I'll tell you what I paid for it, because this amp was a little bit cheaper than the old version. All right, guys, here we go. We're over here at those subwoofers. Y'all know by now the dyno showed that this amp didn't put out quite as much as the old version. Now it's less, it's only less by a little bit, but still it's less. And they're calling this a Pro model. So I don't know. Y'all can let me know in the comments what your opinion is about that. But let's listen to a couple of these YouTube tracks, see how it does. Guys, I'll give my neighbors a break. It's about 8:40 in the morning. 1157 at 1.5. The old version did 1171 at 1.5. So crazy how that old version did just a little bit better power at every single test, including on subwoofers. But it's so small of a difference, I don't think you would ever hear it on subwoofers. Very, very close. Let's get the back plate off of this thing and let's take a look at it. And I'll go back and look at the screenshot I took of the old video. You're welcome to go back and look at the old video too and do some comparisons. If I can roll that clip in of the guts of the old amp, I will do so. I'm just not sure yet if you'll see that in this video or not. But let's get the back plate off of this. All right, guys, here we go. It's the gut shot. 3, 2, 1. All right, so first off, that looks like a 1,000-watt amp to me. I went back and compared the old screenshot of the old version to this one. Guys, I'm telling you, this is the only difference is the color of the board, because I carefully looked at all the capacitors, transformers, all these little chips, every little thing that you see on here, the daughter board, every single little thing was exactly the same as the original version. So the only thing I can think of that's different about this amp is the heatsink is slightly different, and I mean only slightly. And that old version, the board was blue, and this one is red. So I'm gonna say that it's the same amp, and it just happened to do slightly different numbers. Every amp's gonna do a little bit different numbers. And my clamp meter, I think, is different than the clamp meter I had when I did that original version. But I'm gonna call this the same amp, just a different color board and an ever so slightly different heat sink, but still a pretty good bargain, honestly. 900 watts, that's pretty good. We're not talking about a 200 watt amp here, or some of these really, you know, generic 170 watt amps, something like that. Let's get to the price. Here's the cool thing too about it. That old version, I looked it up, and I paid $94 even for the old version with tax. This is on Amazon with Amazon Prime. With tax, it come out to $101.52. And with this amp, I paid $87.99, and with tax, $95.03. So this amp was about $6 cheaper than the old one. But y'all know how Amazon prices fluctuate up and down a little bit. So, you know, take that for what it is. But guys, I was really interested to see how the Pro model did here. Now we know. There's only one thing left to do. All right, let's see. Y'all remember that 1 ohm run? She did 913, 40 hertz, 1 ohm, uncertified. All right, guys, I can't thank y'all enough for watching. Please continue to give suggestions on amps you'd like to see on the channel. Thank you so much for all the comments. I've got great support here on this channel. I love the interaction. Guys, we will see you next Sunday.